Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're gonna go over 2.5 dimensional seductions collab. Basically an evaluation, not really a rundown like I usually do, because it's so late in the game already. We have about a week left. We'll take a look at what the ratings are from game width, what Shiro had to say about whether or not these monsters are worth chasing after, and just kind of evaluate how everything went for the collab. So, without further ado, let's get going. And of course, I'm still trying to get over my cold, so if you see me having a coughing fit, I will take a break quickly to get a drink of water. Hope you understand. Let's get going. Now, here are the gacha monsters. 6-star. Lilisa, clearly the favorite here. 9.5 rating. Very, very solid monster. Nonoa not too bad at 8.5, and Mikari at 8.0. Aria is also at an 8.0 for a 5-star. That's very nice to see. And Okumara is at a 7.0 clip. So let's start with the bang. Lilia Lilisa 9.5 rating. That special attack is very nice. It does a percentage damage. It's actually a double percentage damage that's added together. And it basically takes two parts into account. One is the remaining HP of the monster. The other is the max HP of the monster. And you see there's two different formulas, but they both use the same parameter, which is the number of times you touch an enemy. So you're going to want to make sure you hit as many enemies as possible to maximize the percentage damage for Lilisa here. Each does have a minimum value, but that percentage formula is interesting, and I'll have another slide to go over it in a little bit more detail. But she is great for Cortina, which is the reason why she is so highly rated. To be excelling in an EX stage is going to give her a lot of bonus points. She's also really nice for Shinen Dark as well if you need some help with that. So now here is just the chart spread out if you don't like formulas. Basically, once you get to about 4 or 5 enemies hits, that turns into a nice significant damage. However, because this is taking into account current HP of the monsters, you're actually gonna want to make sure you activate this as soon as possible when the boss, for example, has as much HP as possible, because then you're gonna cut a lot more damage that way, right? Because remember, if you have this, it's only this, and you're taking a percentage of that portion that he has left. Um, so you can see 10 hits is the maximum it looks like, and if you can do that at full health, you'll get a nice 55% shaving there. And that remaining HP portion goes all the way up to 40%. The right side is going to be static, right? Because that's always based off of the max HP. But very interesting curve there for how this works. I guess it's pretty linear. So, Lilisa, is she worth it? Undoubtedly, she's the star prize of the gacha. She got super balance, two super abilities on top of that. We've got Dark Slayer, Transport Wall, great kit. No element resist, bubbly mode. It has support utility as well. Probably the reason why she is so fondly looked at for Cortina as well, with the null element resist. I believe it's M even too, right? And of course, we just talked about her strike shot. It's strong. Her bump combo is strong, so she's really nice overall. Now, I think Shiro had to pull something out for a negative for her, and that's basically that her kit is pretty pronounced on where she can shine, right? It exists. Cortina is there. That's a unique place for her to shine, right? Is that something you care about? Do you care about Cortina? Do you care about these particular stages for dark difficulty stages like Shinen? If you really don't, it's not necessarily somebody that you need to chase after, right? If you're struggling with that, sure, absolutely. If you think in the future you're going to want to do that, sure, do that. But if that stuff you don't care about, don't get don't be disillusioned by the fact that a 9.5 is shining in your face, right? He did warn that you can't just look at game width ratings and take it at face value. You have to realize what game width is taking into account when it gives it a high rating. So just be careful about that. She is strong. Miriela Mikari has an 8.0 rating. She has a strike shot that will not only reveal all weak points of hit enemies, but she will power up each time she hits a weak point, which is pretty nice. Now, of course, she does have a bunch of killers on her, and so that's why her self buff is on the lower end. And her weak point reveal is only for 2 turns, which is a bit of a bummer. But you can see that the attack boost for each weak point she hits is 15% and 20% respectively. So can get pretty nice after probably 4 or 5. Again, 4 or 5 hits is what you're looking at. But hopefully, you have some buddies that will give her some speed up and make her shine even more. She's going to be great for Forcer, so if you're still struggling with that stage, there you go. And one of the strengths that Shiro did give for her is the fact that, Flight Bestow can let you do some goofy things in certain stages, right? Maybe they don't have flight, for example. Well, giving, Flight Bestow allows you to take advantage of some interesting things, assuming you can order them properly. Bunch of supers as well, again, which is really nice to see. Super speed works well with her strike shot, so you can theoretically get a nice power output from her. Now, of course, as I said, the rate is on the lower side, and if you can actually get that many hits, that's a different question with the weak points. As of now, it doesn't seem like she has any particular stage where she super shines in, right? Like I said, Forcer, but she's not like the character, right? And that, that's always a tough thing, do you want to bet on the future of a character? Is there some stage to come? Maybe. We're probably going to have a collab coming right around the corner. I don't know. And actually, we'll talk about that point in the future, futures of a character in, I think, Nonoa a little bit. So Nokia Nonoa is the last character. She does have an 8.5 rating, so slightly higher than Miriela there. Her strike shot is invincibility for your friendlies and will also delay enemies. Unfortunately, the delay is completely random. It doesn't look like there's anything you can do to, bias that in any way. Nor is there any other biases behind the scenes. Or if people haven't found it, it's probably just simply random. Now the buff values are pretty nice. The attack and speed bonus on the second gear is pretty significant. And the invincibility, 4 counts, 6 counts. Remember, each count is when you end your move, enemy ends their move. Each action is a count. Now, what's important to keep in mind is if the enemy does not move, it does not tick down a count. And that's where, there is a little bit of non-synergy going on here with the fact that, well, I'm delaying my monsters, but then I have invincibility. What's going on there? Yeah, it is a little weird, to be honest. But notable stages: Abupisha, Reizetsu difficulty, and Gardens 10 is something that you can consider for Nokio here. Super balance type, enough said. That's always strong against fire type monsters. Strike shot is great. Like I said, the high buff multiplier is really good to see. The delay and invincibility is strong. She also has drain, which is good. And of course, she does have anti-slowdown panel. That is something in the future you can look towards, but on the downsides, strike shot being random sucks. 1 to 3 is unfortunate. If it was at least 2 to 3 on the second gear, that would have some saving grace. But the fact that you could be just stuck with a single turn randomly kind of sucks. We talked about the bad synergy about her strike shot, and this is Shiro talked about this in some length, which is very something to think about, right? Slowdown panels is still very new. Not many monsters have it. you're not going to have too many stages that use it. And if Mixie ends up making a stage where only collab monsters can deal with that stage, like the debacle we had with Arcadia, right? And basically you had to use what was it, Captain America Tsum Tsum, or else you're just screwed, right? um, Stuff like that is they've hit a sore spot with that. So you're gonna have newer monsters having the anti-slow down panel uh, before it becomes a mainstream thing, right? And if that's the case, those newer monsters by definition are going to be stronger than Nokia Nonoa. So, to chase after her just because she has anti-slowdown panel is a little bit and that's going to apply really, when you have these new abilities that is going to be mainstream, right? Like it's a main thing on when you go to the quest details. It's an interesting thing to think about. All right, 4 or 5 monsters. Like I said, Aria being an 8.0 makes her a candidate to be a 4 or 5 star 90 luck monster, but nothing to break your back over. Okumara, just take one, have him in the back seat. That's right. Los Talate 8.0 rating. Nothing really special to talk about. Special attack to the first hit enemy. It's just straight up large multiplier attack. Now, if you like her, go for it. If you don't bother. Event quests, they all have their ratings on GameIt as well. Nothing really stand out from anybody. Interesting that the Forosso has a 7.0 rating. And that's honestly interesting for a 4 or 5 star quest, right? Nothing really significant to talk about for the other ones. Chokikyu Quest 1 Ikora Nagomi 7.0 rating, average. Angel Airborne Corps, the second one where you have to actually farm for them, also at a 7.0 rating. All right. If you are still lagging on the mission events, I apologize for not having them anywhere besides Discord. Please consider joining the Discord. Here's the QR code to jump in there. All 10 days are now up. You can catch up as necessary. You just won't get the day one bonus. Here's a summary of the rewards. Hopefully you picked that all up. There are 5 Tokudamas in total that you should have picked up. And of course, the second edition, we also got Aria as an addition, and she has a 6.0 rating. So again, free mission monsters, that's about usually the case for there. Hopefully you haven't been missing out on the after school activities. You can get some nice items that way. Always cool to get free items, and all you have to do is just click and it'll do everything for you. So make sure you don't miss out on that. Login bonus, not surprised, nothing really to talk about. Cute, very nice. And the login rewards, hopefully you picked all those up. And just a reminder, these guys are all max luck for the duration of the collab. Now, before we wrap up, one important thing to think about is tonight, if I timed out this video properly, we are going to have one more news. It's on the 24th of April. The collab ends at the end of the month on the 30th. We got basically a whole week. We also don't have a Strikers card yet, so there's still probably be one more thing for this. I'm not sure if it's going to be an event. It might just be an extra mission, but it is going to be something. I have a feeling. So, and to wrap it up, is it worth to chase? Like I said, Liliel, great. Cortina, Embezzler, any other dark element quests at that high difficulty, probably going to be useful. Ariel, that 5-star monster, not a mad monster, considered 90 lucky, by no means is it a necessity. But the important thing here is to just be careful. We do have the Nico Nico Chokaigi event that's going to take place on Saturday, Friday night for those of you in California. And Golden Week is going to be a few days after that. Golden Week is basically Japan has 3 holidays in a row, and if that links up with the weekend, then they have a big weekend where they can take some time off, and that's also a great way for people to spend money because they're at home rather than at work or school. A collab is almost guaranteed. And here is a look at the collabs that came around Golden Week: Jujutsu Kaisen, Detective Conan, Attack on Titans, Tokyo Ghoul. Pretty big names here. So if you are considering that you want to chase, wait until the Chokaigi event. You still have some time after whatever gets announced there and before this collab ends. So that's my advice to you. And if you have any questions on what you want to do, now's the time. I am going to look at the comments this week. I swear. I apologize. But I am slowly on the up and up, and so hopefully I'll be 100% soon. So if you like what you saw, do consider hitting the like button and subscribing below, leaving a comment as well. ENGMonst on Twitter/X for the latest news, and of course the Discord channel. Link to the server below. That's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye bye.